I certainly don't want the fucking Attitude Era back. Good God, that's what started this whole mess we've never recovered from. But no, here's the thing. In some cases, you can easily identify whose idea something was. In the old days of the territories, if somebody did something, it was either the booker's idea, the promoter's idea, or the talent that was involved, their idea, and they said, okay, do that. You could narrow it down. With Smoky Mountain Wrestling, for better or worse, most things were my idea, with some input from Kevin Sullivan and a few, Bob Armstrong and some, rock and roll, and the top guys. With the WWE or WWF at that time, whether it was the fellow that we were just talking about, or myself, or Bruce Pritchard, or Jim Ross, or Pat Patterson, or whoever was in creative, and then when they actually started hiring writers, for God's sake, whatever the fuck, I have no idea what instigated that. Everything, first of all, always was filtered through Vince. There were multiple people in the room, and sometimes even somebody who takes credit for an idea, okay, so-and-so is going to have a tag team partner. Well, what's his name? Well, if you name him, that doesn't mean you brought the tag team partner in. You just took what you were instructed to do and came up with something. A lot of people have input and suggestions, and sometimes I've had people tell me, so-and-so was your idea, and I say, I don't know, I have no knowledge of this. And they say, well, yeah, you mentioned something, and it made me think, and then I did blah, blah, blah. So the person whose idea it was sometimes doesn't even remember saying it to begin with. So, anybody who takes credit for just massive, long programs, there was a lot of people whose hands were in the till, and a lot of the talent had input at the top. And then you had the situation where sometimes you just had to do things because of injuries. So, for the Attitude Era, and I don't know what the fuck was going on in WCW, but for the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars, almost nothing you saw was the idea of one single person from start to finish.
And I say the Attitude Era back. Not that I want it back either, but that just seems like the fan base now, the kids that were watching as kids then, or they're now adults, they want the Attitude Era back. But here's an interesting question. What would you say the most egregious offense is in terms of people taking credit for one booking idea? Like, this guy takes credit for it, this guy takes credit for it, and this guy takes credit for it. It's a hodgepodge of everybody claiming ownership of one gimmick or one storyline.
Oh God! Well, for a while there, the people who came up with the Montreal Screwjob finish were it was harder to get into the goddamn Department of Motor Vehicles in that group. Everybody was taking credit for that for a while. First, nobody wanted to take credit for it. Then everybody wanted to take credit for it. Once again, we've mentioned somebody, else that there's no reason to go back and beat that horse again, but who, invented air and water and Stone Cold and The Rock and everything that was ever done. I don't know. I find that just as a general rule in wrestling, most people are more than happy to take credit for really good ideas, and somehow nobody's there to take credit for those really shitty ideas.